Okay, we are back again. One more week, one more month. Release is there. Jay is ready with a new T-shirt today. So yeah, you changed the themes, Jay.
Hey, I was thinking about the topic for today, given our guest, and I was like, what can I, I always like to wear stupid t-shirts. So I was looking at my closet, like, how close can I get to the actual topic? And unfortunately, this is as close as I can get. So yeah, this is what you're going to get today.
Yeah. So will you stay in that shirt or will you wear again your DAX shirt and Power BI?
Eventually, I'll of course go back to DAX and Power BI. I mean, you know what my first love is, right? It's not this.
Okay. Fair enough. But today we have a special guest, Niru from Microsoft. Niru, welcome to Data Jazzers live stream. Thanks for joining us, and it's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me today and letting me talk about paginated reports.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. I don't know. I don't think paginated reports gets enough love and attention in our regular community, right? It's all about Power BI, like, oh, they basically think about desktop only, and then paginated reports doesn't get enough attention. So it's good that we're doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I agree.
first question basically popping in my mind when we are talking about paginated reports is, so for us being in a community for a long time, we know it. So we had a long history of love and hate relationship with reporting services. But Nero, can you just provide short overview to newer members of Power BI community? Not what is it, but when to use it? What's the differentiator? So why I should use paginated over Power BI and so on?
So paginated reports are reports which are usually print ready, well formatted, spanning multiple pages, containing maybe lots of data, may not be, but something that you need really well formatted and going through multiple pages, right? That's when you use it. These are reports, think about inventory reports, operational reports, like your invoices, you want to generate some of those financial statements. All of that would be good examples of what you would use paginated reports for. So there's no interaction, not something that's changing. The data is changing, yes, but the format is pretty much the same. And then you could schedule it regularly to get like your weekly, what is my inventory or what does my financial statement look at the end of the month. So those are the kinds of things that you would use paginated reports for. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all remember those nice days from past working with SSRS. But we are here today because there is a very, very cool enhancement to paginated reports in this month update. So if you can share a little bit more detail about that. So searching across all the pages, I think that's super useful and super helpful. And also sorting. So if you can shed a little bit more light on these new enhancements.
Sure. So it's actually, I go a little back as well, Nicola. So it's actually we've been incrementally making updates to the experiences that we have for paginated reports. And if you've noticed, about a year and a half ago, and this was before my time at Microsoft, we actually had formatted tables that you could create on the Power BI service. Right? So you could do basic paginated reports, which is just add a table, which would paginate, which you could either export, save, or kind of set a subscription for. Now we've added a lot more. You could add text boxes, you could do filtering, you could do search, and the search piece of it is primarily for the consumption view because we have a lot of users who are uploading their existing RDL reports to the service, right? And this is functionality that they want to see. So we've added that functionality and sort as well. So once we published the blog, so this year has been very interesting from a low-code authoring kind of experience where you just want to do a simple text box, simple images, you want to add a table, all of that is now available on the service. So that's kind of in a nutshell for like the web piece of it and what you could do on the Power BI service itself.
Yep. And I think if I could just jump in, I think paginated report actually adds a lot of value, right? I mean, Power BI is great, but it's not great at make a pixel perfect reports that you can print. That is just not where the sweet spot for Power BI currently is, right? So for Power BI Desktop and the interactivity is great, but for paginated, like for actual pixel perfect reports, that's where SSRS paginated reports is really good at. So yeah.
That's my experience as well.
And sorry, Nicola, just one more thing I'd like to add to that, right? So for paginated reports, it's been a big kind of release for us. So one more thing that we've added, a lot of customers have been asking us for dynamic subscriptions. They want to be able to send subscriptions to like specific groups and users. So we do have that functionality that got added for paginated reports. It's in preview. It's a big feature. It's something that's probably going to be available for Power BI reports in the coming months in preview. But that's kind of one of the things that is very powerful. So now you don't need to go and do a Power App to actually get those subscriptions and do all of that. It just makes life much easier. Everything is just in the
service. So it will be integrated in the service, right?
Yes. It's available today in preview. So if you actually go in through the process of creating a paginated review on the service, paginated report on the service, you can go ahead and the dynamic per recipient, that subscription, there are 2 subscription options. So that dynamic per recipient subscription, please go try that. It's in preview at this point.
Okay, so good to know. I missed that part. So thanks for pointing out.
So for paginated reports, it's already in sneak peek preview. Yes.
Awesome. I wanted
do
to.
You have...
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just was thinking. I was also asking Jay, I think, when we were preparing this call. But do we have any statistics on Microsoft side? So how many users comparing to Power BI are actually using paginated reports? So
I don't think I can give you that information.
Personally, I found a lot of use cases, and it's always like to go back to paginated, but I don't think a lot of people are still aware of use cases and usage.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the numbers. I'm sure we have numbers and telemetry on it. I would say I think paginated reports suffers from 2 things. One, it's been around forever in the form of SSRS, right? Reporting services. So people that have been around forever, like, 3 of us at least in this call. I mean, we're dinosaurs over here. We kind of like take it for granted, right? We probably kind of like moved on to Power BI as like a shiny new tool, and at least I gravitate towards doing that all the time. So I'm pretty sure loads of dinosaurs like me kind of like disregard paginated reports because I already know all about like what that is about, because SSRS, I worked with that for 10 years. So whatever those guys do in paginated reports, it will never be better than SSRS, right? That's basically that's not what I think, but basically painting the stereotype there, right? So that's one. And the other thing I think is just Power BI is so big, Power BI Desktop and what you can do in Power BI Desktop is so big that many people just spend a lot of time there and are happy there and never go into actually venture into what is beyond. And people don't even realize, if you're newer to Power BI, that Power BI actually cannot do everything, right? It's like it just sucks at creating printable reports. You shouldn't be using it for that. We have print capabilities, but really, if you step out of like the basic level, paginated reports is there for you to help. So I think we can do a lot on discovery to making it more useful. I think the majority of people that say I use Power BI actually don't think about paginated reports at all.
Yes,
unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention previously. So to expand on this, from my experience, when I talk to people, they say Power BI is better than paginated reports. And I tell them, okay, then I realized that they never really used SSRS, so they don't know the use cases. And then I tell them there is no better.
No, exactly.
Neither of them is better. So it's they are here to complement each other, basically. So
exactly. I mean, paginated reports is worse than Power BI in interactivity.
Absolutely. but
But
better
Power
for
BI
printing.
is way worse in printing than paginated reports, for example, or in making pixel perfect reports that look exactly the same every single time.
And
Yeah.
not just printing. I had a numerous cases on my work where what we all hate, what people are doing, going to Power BI report, export to Excel or export to PDF, or
PDF for
something.
PDF.
PDF. Or that's a perfect use case for paginated reports. If you want to,
Absolutely.
because if you create perfectly nice Power BI page with all the filters exported to PDF, doesn't make much sense.
Yeah,
No.
especially if you have scroll bars.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean,
And those are use cases that we do really well. And we're now on the service. So some of those, if we can do a basic report as of now, as you know, we're adding more functionality, but you can do that today on the service. If you have large amounts of data, you have a table, and you want to add something like a text box or an image, you can do that today on the service. And if it's a large amount of data and you want to export to Excel, there are other ways you could do it. If you want to do live connected export, you might, depending on your use case. If you want an offline copy, we're there, we could do it. Retains the format, there's nothing that needs to change.
right. So it's completely different use case, right? It's operational reporting versus dashboarding. Like leave the dashboarding to Power BI, but don't let Power BI create your operational report, because that's just not what it's great for. Like, and when I say Power BI, paginated reports, of course, is like part of Power BI. But when I say Power BI, I think the desktop version, basically, right? Power BI desktop. And then, but vice versa, don't do that. Don't try to do the interactivity in paginated reports, because it's not really what it's meant for. So I don't see them as better, either of them. They're complementary to each other. But I do think, as a Power BI community, we can do a better job of explaining when you would use paginated reports and driving more attention to that, because it's a great tool. It's been around forever, so it kind of suffers from like people thinking they know everything about it because it has been around forever. But there's great things happening, as you can see in this update this month. There's great things happening. It's not in a vegetative state, right? People are actively working on it, like Nero, right? So it's not that we're just sitting there and we're waiting for it to die. That's not what's happening here at all.
Yeah. And Niru, one question for you. Paginated report visual in Power BI. Are you also working on it, or is it another team?
So that would be our team too. The thing is, you still need a paginated report to be added as a visual. And so if you notice during the course of the year, we also added the ability for you from the visual, from the Power BI visual, to actually create the report. You were only able to connect, but during the course of the year, you can now create it, and we take you into the web experience or the service experience, where you could actually create reports right there. Versus having to create it outside and then you connect only. So we give you that flexibility.
Wait. Sorry for interrupting you. Just to confirm that I understood. So I don't need Power BI report builder anymore.
No, that's not true. I wouldn't jump. Now again, you don't need the Power BI report builder if your paginated report that you have in your RDL visual is simple. What we support in the web experience today.
Oh, okay.
The desktop tool has a lot of flexibility. You could do almost anything, anything. It's very, very flexible, right? You could do expressions, you could do whatever you want. If your report is that complicated, then we still recommend using the report builder tool. But if you're doing something simple, like a report where you're just adding a text box and filters, and you just want a tabular data with an image, you could do that on the service. You don't need to go to the desktop tool.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Okay, just to make sure that I understood.
I learned something today. I didn't know that our report visual actually allowed you to create a brand new report. That's brand new to me. I completely missed that. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first data jazzers where we are talking about feature people cannot test. Power BI desktop is still not out there.
But this is an earlier version. It's not with the current version. This is something that's happened during the course of the year. I don't remember exactly which release it was part of, but you could do it. So if you have a version that's out there and available, you should be able to just create, click on that create button. You should see 2 buttons versus 1. And then you could create a paginated report on the service.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. And if you can share a little bit about what's coming next in terms of paginated reports, because as Jay pointed out, so there are a lot of improvements recently. What can we expect in next months?
So a few things that we've talked about, which should be part of the release notes coming out soon. The dynamic per recipient subscriptions for Power BI reports. That's something that's coming out soon. We also had a lot of customer requests where they wanted to connect to new data sources from Report Builder. And the number of data sources we support today is small. So we're going to do a get data-like experience. So you could connect to data sources that we don't currently support, but you want to connect to via the Report Builder tool. It's not in the service, but it's only through the Report Builder tool. So that's something that's coming soon. And I'm really excited about that.
Well, you heard it here first. Scoops left and right.
Yeah, sounds very interesting, really.
Very cool.
I had a client not this year but previous year. So they were printing how do you say, when people are coming to job, so they check in and check out, and at the end of the month they were printing everything. So extremely good use case for paginated reports, and we implemented it. So I know that people love them when they are aware.
We've heard some of our customers do use it for productivity at the end of the week, end of the month, and it's a very, very interesting way that they would actually use paginated reports, because we usually think of it as more operational with inventory management and things like that. And your time card example falls right into that use case. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to go back to something that August actually said.
Yes.
Just wanted to circle back on that, Jay. Is I saw today, yesterday on Twitter, on LinkedIn, a lot of fuss about blog is out there, Power BI desktop is missing, and a lot of conclusions, people jumping into conclusions. Just wanted to clarify and to simply put it public. What happened?
So what happened is a case of miscommunication. Basically, people executing on the process a little bit faster than expected, and there was one step missing where normally these two processes come together. And I mean two processes as in the blog process and the build process. So we have the blog and we have, of course, official release, the build that gets uploaded. That's owned by two different processes, two different set of people. So the people creating the blog did all the work, right? But they missed a step where they verified with the build people that the build was ready to go. And that step was forgotten by accident this time. So they just pushed ahead with the blog, and then it kind of caught the build people off by surprise. We're like, but wait, we're not ready yet. So that's essentially what happened. It will not happen again. I mean, we made sure that the process is absolutely clear that needs to happen. So essentially what is happening now is the build is just simply not ready. It needs to go through a lot of baking time. We cannot we can generate a build every minute, right? We can absolutely do it. It takes a couple hours, but we can. But we don't want to, because there's also time that we want to do with that build to make sure that everything is really ready to go, right? So we don't want to go like react right now and go like, oh, just push out the build that we have now, right? We want to sit on it a little bit, to test it on ourselves for another week, to just make sure it's absolutely ready to go. So what we said is we will just be clear in the blog and say, sorry, something happened. You'll just have to wait. So the build is coming early next week. That's the plan. And the alternative would have been that we would have removed the blog. But since everybody is so passionate about our updates, like many YouTube videos, LinkedIn posts, Twitter posts, Reddit, everywhere, people were talking about our update and the things they like and the things they don't like, the things that we're excited about. So trying to put that cat back into the bag, I don't think was feasible. So we just decided, we decided to say, let's just update the blog and just say sorry, and whenever we see somebody complaining about it, we say sorry and we try to explain. So that is really what was happening. It was just literally somebody missing one step in the process, where normally we catch this kind of things and we say, no, sorry, the build is not ready yet, or the blog is not ready yet, because it has happened in opposite directions as well, where the build was ready, but then the blog wasn't ready because somebody was late with the content or forgot to send in a demo for the video. So there is a sync in the process to make sure that these two things go out together. But yeah, that step was missed.
That was fun. So I think there is a first time for everything, and this is the first time we have a blog without a Power BI desktop. We had the other way around, so at least we'll remember December 23 as the one release where you can just read about it.
Yes. It's like dreaming for Christmas, right? You sent your Christmas list to Santa. Santa kind of already sent what he's going to get you, and now you just have to wait for the day to arrive.
Don't try this at home, because it will not work.
I mean, hey, it's unfortunate that this happened, of course. I mean, but also it makes us human, right? I mean, mistakes happen, and we're a huge machine at Microsoft, of course, but we have many people involved in any of these processes. So it's not just somebody who owns all of this in one person. That doesn't happen. There's so many things that need to go. Like, we need to put the documentation update live. We need to put the blog live. We need to make sure that the video is live, that it gets captioned, so people can actually, have captions on it. The build needs to be there. The link to the build needs to be there. There's loads of moving parts here, and normally there's one place where that all comes together, and unfortunately that was missed this month. So
that's why we are today focusing our time on paginated reports, and good old SRS never happened there.
Yeah, it just worked.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll take it. I'll take that feedback. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so Niru, if we need to ask you one question that we ask all of our guests.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you're prepared or not, but even better if you're not. What's your number one missing feature in Power BI? So not necessarily in paginated reports realm, but let's say in entire Power BI.
So this is the magic wand question. What if you could wave a magic wand and something happened?
Yeah, I mean, I know probably you're missing December build. That's
I mean, I think we beat that horse enough, but I think I don't know if I should actually say this, but I think if I could just say, hey, I have all my data in place. I would like to know usage or growth of Foo this year versus last, and it's all just done. So some of these co-pilot experiences that you are hearing about and seeing, I think are experiences that I would really like. And that just takes out so much complexity, right? Like for especially the new users who've never done DAX before, who we're trying to get and make data a part of their daily work and not data as the work. I think that would be super, super helpful because I think it just makes people make better decisions, quicker decisions, and just be more effective in their day-to-day. And maybe give them a few hours back every day so that they could live more wholesome lives.
No one would complain about having more hours back.
Yep.
That's for sure. Yeah, but I love your answer because something is definitely happening and moving in right direction in that area. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Were you at Ignite, Jim? Were you at Ignite?
No, I'm just being stupid. I think I own some of the features that you were just talking about. So yeah, and I promise this wasn't agreed upon by Nero and me, by the way, that she would pick something that I work on. But yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay, let's
No,
say
it
that's
wasn't.
coincidence. Let's say, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
No, I
trust
think
you.
you're absolutely right, Nero. I think that's very important. One thing that I always like to add as a cautionary tale is that the moment any Copilot starts generating DAX, that is not a free lunch. Like that is still something that you have to understand as a user. So that's something that, me as the owner of DAX, I also always want to say that when people say, oh, it can just generate DAX. Yes, it can, but you still have to validate what we do because it's not.
You just need to ask a Copilot 2 questions, actually. First, generate DAX, then please optimize it.
Yeah, well, or yeah, something. There's still a little bit of work ahead of us to make sure that actually works all the time. But of course, that is in my area, and I think Nero is spot on. Like that is the holy grail. Like, what if we would be able to just generate DAX and be able to trust that all the time, and you're blindly trusting it as, I press a button in paginated reports or in Power BI Desktop and something happens. The same level of trust to Copilot for generating that DAX and generating the right DAX, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but then I
And
can work as a singer.
Retire and we can just,
Then I can work as a singer.
Maybe you can have Jeffrey sitting in a backend behind the Copilot, writing it for us.
We jokingly talked about it as Jeffrey as a service, but both Jeffrey as well as his significant other didn't really like the idea. So yeah.
Nero, can we expect Copilot in paginated reports as well?
I wouldn't really comment on that at this point. We have a lot of groundwork to do, and we're working on it. Like I gave you a sneak peek on the kinds of things that we're doing. But yeah, at this point, I wouldn't like to comment on it.
Okay. I would first, my first prompt would be, Copilot, please make alternate rows colors in paginated.
So today, actually, on the web, this experience that you have on the service, we have some of those pre-defined ones. So you could actually do alternating rows, row colors already.
Okay, without formulas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I mean, it won't pick the exact colors that you want, but if you want to be able to see rows in alternating colors, it's possible.
Awesome.
And I mean, we're half joking as well about like paginated reports or SRS being old, but it has withstand, like it's there, has been tested, tried, it's true, it works, right? It's great. It's not like some brand new technology that you cannot trust, right? Also, a feature that I happen to work on called Visual Calcs. You know what we did when we started designing that? Look at SSRS, how they solved that problem, because you can do the similar stuff in SSRS where you can do calculations within a visual. Mm-hmm. How did they approach that? So some things that we got into Visual Calcs were actually born in the SSRS side. And guess what? The same architect that worked on Visual Calcs was there when they did that for reporting services. So we benefited a lot in Visual Calcs as well from the things that reported services figured out in that time. So it's not that we're just like poo-pooing it like, oh, it's an outdated tool. That's definitely not what's happening here. We're just Power BI is in itself also benefiting from all the learnings and all the experience from years and years and years of working on reporting services.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think when we were discussing about topic for this episode of Live from Redmond, we all mutually agree that SRS is something that we need to show some love to SRS paginated reports. And I think this was really great discussion, and hopefully, Nero, we see you again with nice new breakthrough features with paginated reports, and we'll do our best to support and spread the word out there because it's still a beloved product.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Or if you're doing integration of crystal reports, that's even better.
Thank you so much. It was super helpful. I love the opportunity. I'm glad we could spread the word around paginated reports. We did some stuff for developers also. So we did do binding a data set, which was something that they all asked for. So we could use the API to actually bind to a data set. That's something that's already there, which I didn't talk about so far, but I just wanted to take the last minute to kind of sneak that in to kind of provide visibility to our pro dev audience as well.
Awesome. And thanks for
The
providing
last
that.
thing, basically, last thing community is missing, and we have a lot of swag from Power BI, from Jay's distributing it around on the conferences. We need something with paginated reports.
Okay,
Just
okay. I will take
out
that
there,
request
everybody will be
forward.
happy to wear a T-shirt with SRS on it,
Like this,
Okay.
you mean?
Yeah.
something like that.
Doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily need to be an animal, but yeah.
Yeah, no, something. I mean, didn't we used to have a paginated report bear at some point?
Ah,
Yes,
yes, that's
yes, we
true.
did.
Chris
Yeah.
Finland had it. Yeah, yeah.
This Finland. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Can we not
Yeah.
do
So
something with that?
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Let's think. Let me think about it. We'll probably do something with that.
I mean, we now have a DAX dog. We have a Power BI owl, Henry. We need a paginated report bear sticker thingy or whatever, and then we
Yep.
also need a fabric something. So we need to come up with an animal for fabric as well at some point. Maybe the fabric fowl or whatever, something. I mean, we need just a whole collection of those things. I think that would be great. No, I think paginated report bear we already had, so maybe we just breathe new life into him and make little plushy versions for giving it away, or I don't know. I'm sure Nero and team can come up with something.
Yes, we'll do.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Niru. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and for sharing all the latest stuff related to paginated reports. We really appreciate that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome talking to you all.
Thank you, and everybody out there, have a nice holidays, and see you after January update.
Yes, see you next year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
See you
Happy
next
New
year.
Year.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.